When talking about the huge success of the first Joker film and what it means for the second film and whether or not Todd Phillips believes that the same crowd will show up to the sequel, he addresses the incel fan base that formed around the film and that message. And he talks about how he didn't even know what that was, and he addresses the whole incel thing. Okay, so before we get into this, in case you don't know what an incel is, here is the definition of it. A involuntarily celibate man. A heterosexual male who blames women and society for their lack of romantic success. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, you probably understand what we're talking about. And if you guys saw, when the first Joker film came out, there was a huge rise in the term incel that spread very quickly. And we actually saw a decent part of the fan base, and I don't want to say a majority, but there was a huge online contingent of people that were incels that used this film specifically as sort of like their beacon, and Joker represented them in society, and they were like, yes, this is me, and I get behind this because women don't give me the time of day or whatever. And again, there was a lot of arguments over this. There was a lot of ways that some of these guys portray themselves where people were clearly like, you realize you're sounding like a psychopath, right? Maybe that's why women won't look at you or talk to you, because you're acting like a complete insane lunatic. Because like the moment a woman says, hey, I like this, you suddenly attack her being like, oh, that's wrong, you gotta like this. There was a lot of that, and the incel thing just took off because one thing or another. Well, Todd Phillips was asked about this, and he was like, look, I didn't even know what that is. I had to look it up. And he says, if I just look at this, we weren't making a love letter or making our film for those people. We were just making a film that to us felt real. And wasn't that the point? And he says the real world implications were obviously there, but again, he never intended this to be like an incel rallying cry. And that much is clear. If you watch the film, it's evident, but there's always an element of misunderstanding. And fundamental misunderstanding of core concepts goes deep, especially in comic book films, and even science fiction at this point, where people miss the message. You know, they miss it. I mean, just this year, we finally talked about the fact that a major part of the Boys franchise fans realized that Homelander is a bad guy. Let me repeat that. It took them till the 4th season to realize that Homelander is a bad guy. People do not have media literacy. So some people did think that Joker was like Incel the film, where obviously that's not the case. If it draws parallels to it, it was accidental. That's what Todd Phillips is saying.